And we'll start off in the NYA daily chart here, where the open almost always is the same as the previous close. For the NYA, it's really the only index where that happens almost all the time. Very few gap ups. And this is again really close to a 3 white soldiers candle pattern. The only thing it has is real tiny candle wicks at the top of each candle, but it does open at the close of the previous candle. And this third one has quite the large wick. Check out these AD lines, the stocks only skyrocketing and the New York AD line skyrocketing. About 2 years ago in 2022, the NYSE stopped considering ETFs for inclusion and closed-end funds and some others like that. I believe they've grandfathered in everybody that was in there at that cutoff time in 2022. So, of course, they've kept stocks, options, bonds, still have closed-end funds, corporate structured products, capital securities, such as convertible bonds, hybrids, but they're not considering adding anything else other than stocks, ADRs of foreign companies, and REITs. And I noticed that the long-term KST for the past couple of days has planed out, so 3.81 on the 11th, 3.81 on the 12th. If this turns up, there could be some pretty serious upside, but there's definitely downside due from these 3 white soldier candles. Could go up for another day or two, but then usually a pullback, and I don't expect it to amount to much. And this pretty much tells the story here. The SPY to the equal weighted index, the left behinds are starting to make a run for it. I'm starting to really like this commodity channel index when it goes above the overbought 100 line. Is usually a buying signal, so very good entry points, and of course it will end up going down. Ultimate oscillator pointed down, RSI pointed up above 70, and the QQE fast is above the slow, and the show of strength headed to 70 there too. And the Williams percent R gives you a heads up on the commodity channel index. They're very similar, so if this is making a tick down, then the commodity channel index probably will too. So here's an early warning there. And the psychological line jumped way past 50. It's up there in 70, so the buyers are definitely coming in with strength. In this NYA daily, the REI is starting to make a move down under overbought, seeking neutral zero as this parabolic move forces it to do that. So that's a show of strength, especially with DM1 sailing above its overbought. And the rock here is fast approaching it, so the rock is a little slower and not much action as the DM1, but it's doing pretty good up there. I'm looking at the DMI of the ADX, Directional Movement Index. You can see the downdraft here where it lost 20. Anything above 20 is a good indication of the direction it's headed in. So still an uptrend here, but as soon as it left 20, somewhere like right here, so not so much a trend, but the direction, it's hard to wrap your head around, but it's starting to make a move back to 20. So if this gets above 20, and this uptrend continues, that's another really good show of strength there. And the direction will be up right now. As long as it's under 20, there's a threat that the downdraft direction could continue. And the point reversal is pointed up. I use 4 period, and it has a point reversal trend up. So basically, these 4 bars, the low are higher than the low of the previous 4 bars before this low. So this is another good show of strength there. And most importantly, there's definitely a crossover of this 4 moving average in blue above the 9, and the 9 is above the 18. They're all simple moving averages. That's an old school moving average configuration, but it's a good harbinger of good things to come. Then you pay attention to the 20, 35, 50, which I have presented in the big board chart. So the 20 is above the 35 in red, but the gold 50 is still above the 35. So if the 35 makes it above the 50, then we really got something going on. And this could probably handle a hit to the downside as long as it's not too far, and then the continuation to the upside, but definitely something to monitor, that 35-50 relationship there. And the ATM trigger, fast and slow, are together up there above the overbought 75, and the trigger is starting to make a move off, maybe -2, so this has plenty of room to run to the upside to meet these up here above the overbought 75. So we're just waiting for a move off a -2 there, and the slow trigger could stay up there and waiting for it, but the fast trigger could make a move down and then back up. We'll have to monitor that too. This is a great indicator. And the Bollinger Bands are expanding big time. Look at that upper and lower here. What a classic squeeze and breakout here. And price did make it above the propulsion momentum, up for 50% and 100%, so that gives a new propulsion momentum down up here. And here's the 50% disqualified and the 100% here. So this qualified and confirmed exhaustion down for 50% has been negated with this move above the momentum up. So for Monday, it would be good to see price stay above this level, because that would be a down close followed by an up close, and if it closes below this level, it would be qualified, and then it could become confirmed on that 4th day, but that's way ahead of things. Definitely a threat now, though, especially with these closer, this 50% exhaustion down, and the 100 is way down here, so pay attention to the 50% if this becomes qualified and confirmed. The Qtec weekly chart with the relative retracement from this bar here on the 21st pretty much slammed into the relative retracement up 3 at 205.06 and then fell below it. So next week it has a chance to qualify it, as there was an up close on this week and a down close this past week. So if it closes above that relative retracement disqualified up 3, next week after that could be the confirmation process. It'll be a major feat to get it qualified. And we'll finish with this Andrews pitchfork showing the IWN value ETF versus the Qtec equal weighted technology index. And this is the one that I got into a couple weeks ago when we noticed the low ratio between the IWM and QQQ, so I chose these two, the biggest wild cards out there, and it's proven lucrative here. So, but I'm on pins and needles to see if it can stay above the middle tine of the pitchfork. I believe if one can keep up with the volatility that's going to ensue between now and the election, that you could go either way, switch to Qtec versus IWN and then back again. You really got to stay on your toes and be alert. As you start doing that, you're out there in the same field with the robots.